Hey guys, and welcome back to Bocho's Brother. Today we're going to talk Trudvang. And the first thing you'll notice about Trudvang is the art of Trudvang by Paul Bonner. This is a role-playing game designed in Sweden, and it is in English, the books. The three core books are the Trudvang's Player's Handbook, the Trudvang's Game Master's Guide, and the Trudvang Bestiary, Georgi's Bestiary. Over here to the east you have the Stormlands, populated by humans. It's a very human populated world. You have the Stormlands, Midland, Westmark, then Nordland, and then elves are found down in this area of Soj. You have pretty much three basic races. The humans and the different kinds of humans. Some are more barbaric, some are more inclined to build cities and a little bit more civilized. Then the dwarves, who are built kind of like boulders. We'll see they're much more squat and wide than dwarves you may have seen in other games. And then you have the elves, who look quite humanistic, but they are, of course, elegant and special. So, without further ado, let's just take a brief look here in the Player's Handbook. The beginning section goes over the characters, the different races and classes. Then you have all the skills in the next chapter. And then you have the Weavers of Vitner. Now, you know in other games you have wizards and mages and magic. In this game, you have this ancient magic called Vitner, which is unique, and it's not something that everybody can have access to. So think a combination of The Witcher and the Vikings TV series and Scandinavia, and you are then in Trudvang. And then here we get the dim walkers, kind of like priests from a different game, clerics, and it's also dangerous to use. You're opening into dangerous magic that can lead to death coming through or monsters. All right, so that's what you're getting in the Player's Handbook. We'll just briefly flip through it here for you as you capture a little bit of the art and the feeling of Trudvang here. All right. Now, Trudvang, I have all the books of Trudvang. They just recently had a campaign come out. Here you can see the elves, the humans, and the dwarves. Just look at how boulder-like these guys are. And the classes: the bard, the dim walker, the dweller, the ranger. So you're getting into tracking, having wolves and beasts at your beck and call. The rogue, the Vitner weaver. You're going to have to practice your Scandinavian accent when you play Trudvang, because quite a lot of the words they use in the book are Scandinavian origin. The warrior. And then we get to what has stopped me kind of from playing the game. I'm very into the lore, I'm into the art, I'm into the fantasy, I'm into the map, the world, the lands. But when it comes to the mechanic overlay, so we put a mechanic overlay on all of that, and then you're suddenly getting bogged down by a lot of numbers, a lot of details. It is the opposite of Dungeons and Dragons. So to do things, you're going to get a target number. Rolling a 1 would be like rolling a natural 20 in Dungeons and Dragons, and rolling a natural 20 will be a critical fail. So it's flipped the Dungeons and Dragons method on its head, which I think is cool. You'd have to get your kind of mind around it. Things are bogged down in that every little action you're going to take, you're going to have to do a lot of calculations to figure out if that action is successful or not. So just for me personally, with the players I play with, it's going to be difficult to get them on board with learning all the new mechanics. But the good news is that they have now made this game for 5e. So they've translated the whole mechanic overlay to the Dungeons and Dragons 5e overlay. And I have those books ordered. That's a Kickstarter. And that kind of wraps it up for the player's handbook, just to give you an idea here. I will briefly show you here the Game Master's Guide. It's a bit smaller than the core player's handbook. It gives you more details on the game mechanics, again filled with beautiful art by Paul Bonner and other artists that use this unique Viking style. All right, some are written in this kind of coffee brown overlay as a sketch or a drawing, and then you also get quite a bit of art in full color. Now look at the monsters. We've talked about the heroes, the monsters. We're going to get to the monster guide now, but here you're getting an impression of what they're like. They almost come out of nature. You don't see them at first. They're among the trees. They're among the small creeks and rivers and on mountains, and they just creep out. And as a dungeon master, you definitely are going to want to use that flavor when describing how these monsters are emerging. And they are all quite scary. Any encounter can lead to death. So it's a world where you're much more grounded in kind of a realistic way. It's not as superhero-esque. It's more like like these shows like Game of Thrones and Vikings, where you can very easily die. Here you see this giant Virm. So dragons would be called Virms, I think, in this game. You see the little dwarf there. And they are just about the most dangerous thing you could encounter in the world of Trudvang. And they give you a whole new slew of monsters. It's going to give you a whole new spin on monster encounters. This one's filled with quite a bit of that coffee sketch style art. And then you have these skulls and branches and Wittner style creatures. All right, here we have two books that are more focused on culture, the lore, and the land. They are two of three. The third one is now in a Kickstarter for the elves. This one just came out. It's specifically and only about the dwarves. So you see before me all of the land here above ground of Trudvang. But behind me, this map is all of the land under the earth. And it is inhabited by many, many dwarves and goes very deep. This entire book, which is, I think, almost 200 pages. Let me check here. Yeah, just about 200 pages of dwarves, only about dwarves, and written in a very dwarvish, Germanic, Swedish, Scandinavian way. You get to understand all the different tribes of dwarves. I think there are over 10 described in this book. So if you're into dwarves, I would recommend this book for you. My only complaint about the book was that, it's quite a lot of text as we get farther back and less pictures. And then it just kind of ends suddenly. It didn't feel like the book ended in a way that was with a conclusion. It felt like it was just in the middle of the book, and then there it is, it's finished. So this is the book that just recently came out called Muspelheim. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but again, the art, and if you're a lover of Trudvang, you just have to have it in the collection. And this one is specifically on the Stormlands and all the kind of encounters. So this is the Stormlands over here. All of that, just that section, we have a whole book dedicated to seeing what life is like in Trudvang and transporting you into this world. Again, a lot of that coffee stencil style of art, which is enjoyable. Beautiful writing, and something that would be fun to read at the end of the day, maybe in a nice comfortable chair, looking at the art and reading. and we're getting a very different feel with this. I live in a world where I don't have a lot of time to read all the books I have. So what I like to do for my campaign is use one world, one campaign. I'm currently using Etheris from Grim Hollow, but then I take in elements of other games and put that into my campaign. So I would definitely think about using Trudvang. And the final 3 books here are the campaigns, the modules that I have for Trudvang. This one is The Curse of Ruins, which takes place in all of that dwarven underground world. And just to give you an idea, text reads as so. Take heed, skalds and game masters. Let me tell you a story. As the fate of the realm of the mysterious dwarves hangs in the balance, our heroes parley with giants, do battle with serpent gods, sing with the east wind, and brave the unknown underground of a forgotten realm. So, you don't need to know all the game mechanics to use these modules. Get a lot of good ideas for a campaign of your own and run it in whatever world you enjoy. A lot of text, a few images in these books. This one's a dwarven adventure in the mines. This one is called The Runes of Memory, about these ancient runes that are carved in stones around the world of Trudvang. And this smaller one, which is kind of a paperback, is called The Elven Horn. So dwarves, overland, and elves here. I can also say that I will be using this art book by Adrian Smith, mix and match Trudvang with Blood Rage and the figures I have from Blood Rage. So combining worlds like I was talking about, using the Blood Rage figures, and then I backed as well Trudvang Legends made by Simon, who made Blood Rage, and that is going to come with a bunch of brilliant dwarves, humans, and elves, bards, all the different classes, and you can use those pieces as well when playing the game. So I hope that after watching this video you have a better idea of what Trudvang is all about. And if you are interested in the base game, you can get Trudvang as it is, or if you are specialized in Dungeons & Dragons 5e, they have now prepared the Dungeons & Dragons 5e version of Trudvang. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.